Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. I'm hoping that the weather is treating you wonderful, and I hope that you will accept the invitation to join us as we get a chance to share about not just education and enlightenment and empowerment, but a way that we can ensure that our people are truly empowered. The wonderful company, Ms. Aubrey, will be our guest as we talk about United World College. And then at 1 p.m., if he finds his way here, Shane Noby Edwards will come and sit and keep my company. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks very much. Sometimes it seems like the weather, the wind blows around, scrambles the rains. I feel that way today. So if you're feeling this shelf, here's a way. Catch your breath, relax, and enjoy, the wonderful things that we have in store. Miss Aubrey Boyd, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
How are you, my lady? How are you today?
I am phenomenal. I cannot remember the last time we had a nor'wester like this, but I am thoroughly enjoying it.
Thank you for saying that, because every single individual off the bat will say, listen, enjoy it, be safe, go by the seashore and be sensible. But we recognize this for some of us. We used to see this when we were a little bit younger, and it's been a long time.
Well, I must admit, I made a very clear promise to Danny Coleman, the Director of Hazard Management, that I would safely observe the waves last night and not do it like we used to as kids and go running into them.
Well, I don't know about you, but I know that there was one not like this, not long ago, the last one, and I was so privileged, thrilled, honored. With my brothers, there must have been, let's say, 4 or 5 children and about 20 adults observing to make sure they were safe. And I think the ratio was probably like 4 adults per child. And just reminiscing, but giving them a chance to just be on the shoreline. Now, it was not like this at all. I mean, it was just barely a breeze. But to see this, hopefully people will enjoy themselves, but as you shared, safely and sensibly, and recognize that as the waves come in, there's a lot of energy. Be careful. If it hits you, it can knock you over, take you out to sea. So don't be foolish, but you can still enjoy it and look at the majesty of the good Lord. I mean, it's incredible. Thank you. See, even so, someone's going to enjoy this.
Oh, you know how it is.
I should not. Your father be like, listen to me, boy. I am a sailor. No, but I say that just because it is that appreciation for where we are and who we are that we can recognize as we talk about United World College, that a small community like this, geographically small, despite the 100,000 people, still relatively a small number of people, to get the opportunity to go and not only come away with an education that's very academically enriching, but to make connections that are global and life-changing. I don't know, man. Tell us about it.
Well, that's a great summary. So we're really, really pleased that you've had us on today to talk about the United World Colleges, and in particular the selection process here in the Cayman Islands for Caymanian students to participate in this global educational movement. It's I was reminded recently this is the 40th year that UWC has been selecting out of the Cayman Islands, which is just such an incredible accomplishment.
Okay, hold on. Let's take the math, because I'm thinking about Mr. Martin. We'll call his first name.
Our first two alumni, they are very proud about that, Mr. Lindbergh Martin and Miss Dana Brandon.
So 40 years?
Yeah, 40 years ago, we took some teenagers, one out of the BRAC, Mr. Martin, and Dana, and we sent them pretty far across the world for a really life-changing experience, and we've been doing it ever since.
There you go, man. So, next time I see Mr. Martin, I can't have him convince me now that he's not yet 40.
We are all still young people.
There we go. See, from the mouth of babes. But I want to thank you for allowing me to interject. Here are two people, one from the back, and the other from the better part of Cayman.
I can't endorse that view.
And two people for whom their families love them, cherish them, encourage them, nurture them. And as much as they were probably, a little bit concerned, oh, you can go so far away, my little baby, but excited for them, now for them to come back and to see who they are and their continued efforts. 40 years later of, successive students doing the same thing shows you that if we invest in our people, the great dividends that would accrue to the society. Yeah,
absolutely. And also the positive impact that we have on the rest of the world. I mean, the Cayman Islands, we've got a unique perspective like any peoples. We've got a really strong sense of community and a lot of great things that we can bring to the table in terms of how we live and what we can share and what we can celebrate. Yeah. And so it's not just that we've been positively impacting the Cayman Islands with our alumni that are coming back, with our students that are around. We're positively impacting the world by bringing Cayman onto that global stage and having our perspective. I remember when I went to the United World Colleges, there were a couple of countries that people had never heard of, and Cayman Islands was one of them. Yep. So myself, and in particular the young girl from Lesotho who was also there, we were the ones that were kind of like, okay, well, here's where it is and this is what we're about. So it's also about making our mark on the global stage.
Yeah. I want as much as you are willing to share, because this excites me in so many ways. The idea of education for our young people, as much as we think we're globally connected and integrated and the like, and I do not like social media for no reason other than the fact that it may take us away from being physically present, even when we're seeing screens. But as much as we think that, we're still relatively unknown. Our country's population could go into a football stadium and there'll be space for others, right? But when people understand and see what they can benefit, so at some point, if you're inclined, in addition to sharing with us the benefits, how the application, when, any of your experiences, and one of the things I'm interested to ask is, if you, knowing what you know now, would you have not done it? Would you have done it sooner? What are the things you would have done better, different, whichever,
Yeah, that's a great question. So the short version is UWC, the 2 years that I spent there, 16 to 18 years old, so that's the time frame we're thinking of. So after students have completed O-levels or the equivalent, those are some of the toughest years of your life, no matter where you are. I mean, you're really cementing your identity. You're figuring out who you are and how you fit into the world and what you're going to bring. And you're going to have the lowest lows no matter where you are. And so with perspective, looking back on it, I appreciate that. But the best times of my life were at UWC. The worst times of my life were also at UWC. It's a crucible. A lot of people call it that. Yeah. And would I do it again? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. Would I do it any different? I don't think we can, look back. We've got hindsight for the benefit, but it was a transformative experience. It's certainly not for everybody, but as an educational model, it's not just about what you're doing in the classroom. It's not just about the academics. UWC, the United World Colleges movement, it's a global educational movement with a purpose. So it's not just about developing academics or getting people ready to go to really great elite universities on scholarships. We do those things as well. But even more importantly, it's about developing within young people a capacity to be change makers. So our mission is to make education a force. So it's the means to the end. The education is the force that's going to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. And that's what we have been working toward as a global educational movement since 1962, when the first college was established.
Well, make peace, not war. Right? And I like how you share that, because education, and however we may sort of phrase it, it is truly the one thing that can empower, equalize, but unify. And there's a saying, I saw it, decades ago. I need to find, because of the way it was saying, it talked about you can't lead and control uneducated people. You keep them dumb and dependent. It's much easier. No, that's not how it was phrased, but that's the gist of it. And I want to find that, because I think that would be a good personal motto, a national motto. And through what I know from talking to you and others who've had the great fortune to go there, it does so much for us as people. Now, you talked about the crucible moment. That's going to happen whether you stay here in Cayman, whether you go to sixth form, whether you finish out your last 2 years at some school, whether you're working. It's going to happen, right? But if it happens where you have that sense of independence and support, it's going to make you that much. I think it would be akin to our young seafarers on their first voyages, on the ships.
Absolutely. You've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that does mean it takes a certain personality and a certain ability to thrive in those sorts of environments to really be successful at UWC. But when you're away from home and you're relying on different types of support networks, it does encourage you to grow in a very different way. And something I also found was, when you grow up in Cayman is what you know.
Yeah.
And when you leave, that's when you really start to think about what Cayman is. As humans, we kind of have this tendency. We don't define ourselves, as ourselves. We almost define ourselves in opposition to other people sometimes. This is I think a trait that's in all humans. And sometimes it can be detrimental. You can grow up hating people you've never met just because they're the others. And that's actually what was foundational to the starting of the United World Colleges movement. There was a German educationalist named Kurt Hahn who was looking at Western Europe in particular, but also the Cold War that was going on after the end of World War II, where people growing up in the United States and in the Soviet Union, they hated each other. They'd never met someone from the other country, but they hated each other because they had been told what the other people were like, and that's the enemy, and this is, we are the good people because we're not like them.
Yeah.
And we can't have peace in the world if we don't know who the people are across the world. And once we bring these students together, and his concept was that when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you're pretty grounded in your culture. You know a bit about who you are and what your country's about and who your people are. What does your community stand for? What are your values? Because, of course, these are going to be different across national cultures. But you're not stuck in the prejudices.
That's it.
Your mind is still open. You're still, it's easier to listen to other people, to get to know other people, and to see them as humans.
Yeah. Well, when we come back from the break, Ms. Robert, that notion that even though we are more alike than we are different, we tend to focus on the differences. It's said that if you put a name to the face, you might be more inclined to look at a person as opposed just to the number. And for those who are familiar with United World College, who are not know, we're going to share information, tell them who can apply. I think there's a special exemption I saw on the fine print. I can still apply.
We'd love to have you.
I would go in the heart. This should be a United World College for adults. All right, when we come back, please rejoin us. If you have a question, you want clarification, hey, we're right here. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Welcome to a new year with Digicel. Elevate your mobile experience by switching to our prepaid or postpaid plans. Enjoy more data, seamless communication, and uninterrupted entertainment. Plus, make the switch now for a chance to win exciting rewards. Stay connected, entertained, and make 2024 your year with Digicel. Because better connections make a better year.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back. The 55th Cayman Islands Agricultural Society Agriculture Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 14th. Cooking competition, pony rides, petting zoo, beautiful baby show, Miss Agriculture Queen and Princess competition, lots of local musical entertainment, Roscoe the Mechanical Bull, and so much more. Gates open at 7 a.m. with ample parking. General admission is only $10. Children ages 2 through 11, $5, and under 2 are free. For more information, visit them on Facebook or Instagram at Cayman Agriculture. The 55th Agriculture Show in Lower Valley, Ash Wednesday, February 14th.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from the 5th to the 10th of February at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you are seeking advanced skin care, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full service and dermatological service practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
This spring, say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Sale ends February 14th. Now is the time to see LA your way.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I say this, and maybe I should reconsider it and see if it's accurate, or if it is, to perhaps say it in a better, more informative, important way. I believe that the pillars in a society, and in particular Cayman, not financial services and hospitality, as important as they are for employment. If we had mining, manufacturing, diamonds, gold, oil, not even those. It's education and healthcare, and we have that opportunity. So here now we have an opportunity to talk about Universal College. If it's okay with you, as the great humility you have and the quietness, to share through you, so others will be inspired. We kind of highlighted Miss Donna and Mr. Martin earlier, and see, even them could go and look at where they are. So examples of 4 decades. Who will be the next? You're looking for 15 more people, I think, right?
Oh, I wish if any potential sponsors are listening, we'd love to expand our program. Yeah. But yeah, so we select generally about 2 Caymanians a year. We've done 3, 1 depending on what our applicant pool looks like, the offers we get, because we're part of this global movement. So the United World Colleges, it encompasses 17 different colleges around the world. Wow. So they're in Canada, the U.S., Costa Rica, Japan, Germany, Swaziland, China. They're all over the world, but they're all part of this same network. And something that I've found really interesting across the years is that no matter where you go, so any of those 17 colleges, no matter where you come from, so it's over 200 national committees, countries and territories that are represented within this movement over time. And no matter when you went, from the 60s all the way through to the students that are there now, there's this commonality of experience. And that's because it's a purpose-driven mission. It's a purpose-driven organization. It's a movement. It's not just a school.
Yeah.
And so these students, we're looking for Caymanian students for our national committee specifically, but I'm really proud to say that we've selected we've supported a number of other non-Caymanians who are living in the Cayman Islands, and they've been successful in going through other national committees and experiencing UWC as well. So while we only accept applications from Caymanians because that's our national committee, we would love to have any students who are 15, 16 years old looking for something unique, looking for a challenge, looking to really do something different, to reach out to us about the United World Colleges and the opportunities that present so that we can give you information on how to apply. Our website is ky.uwc.org, or we can be reached at uwccaymanislands@gmail.com with any questions. If you're a parent, if you're an auntie, an uncle, a family friend, someone who's got a mentee who might be interested, we'd love to share our information. So we're really promoting right now our application stage. So the applications are going to be due on March 1st. And we want to have as many people as possible know about this opportunity. And so again, any students who are 15 or 16 years old right now, finishing up your O-levels this year, going to be 16 or 17 by September. You're encouraged to apply to learn more about the United World Colleges and the possibility of finishing your last 2 years of high school somewhere really awesome, potentially far from home or a little bit closer, but in this really unique type of experience. You know, our values at UWC are something that drive us as well, and they include things like personal challenge. So doing things that you never thought that you would be able to do. I personally attended the United World College that's in the United States. It's located in New Mexico in the foothills of the Sandia Mountain Range. And I got there, and that first weekend I was told, all right, we're going on a wilderness trip. And no, I do not hike.
Different from when I was South Sound
camp. No, yes, very different than sleeping in a hammock out in South Sound when I was a kid. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. And if I'd had a choice, I promise you I would not have gone. But it was, everyone does at least one wilderness trip, and I think it's 2 now after I've graduated.
Wow.
And so I went in, got fitted for a backpack. It was as big as I was. We were dividing up all of the, common things. One person had to carry a stove. Someone else had all of the, food supplies, really heavy. They gave me a rope. They were like, all right, Aubrey, I don't know if you can take much more than a rope. I said, that's fair. And off we went with a student leader. We had one of the faculty members who was kind of trailing us and making sure that we were okay. But the students who had done this many times the previous year and who had been trained in navigation and wilderness survival and all of these things, they were actually the ones that were leading us, just 1 year older than we were. And so the 8 of us set out, and me and the girl from the Bahamas had a few requests for some water breaks. We were not used to altitude or to hiking, but it was an experience that I absolutely loved, but I never would have done if I didn't have to.
And look at the joy which you relate that.
And now I hike. I go hiking now. So it's something that puts you out of your comfort zone every day. You're living with students from, typically it's about 80 to 90 different countries that are represented in a student body of only 200 people. The faculty are also incredibly diverse and amazing people. So you're learning in this environment in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom, in the dining hall, and what we used to call our day rooms. So the common areas in the dormitories. That's where a lot of that learning went on as well. And so these values like personal challenge, like intercultural understanding, celebration of difference, I think that's an important one as well. It's not tolerating differences, it's actually celebrating them and maintaining them. It's not about bringing everyone together and coming up with this unique, global order where we're all supposed to be like this. It's about understanding that we are all different and we need to protect that and celebrate that.
And in our differences, there can still be unity. There can be disagreement without discord and disharmony. And it's not about the vitriol, it's about the value.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. There were a range of political views, of religious views, different types of national cultures represented, but there was respect, there was mutual respect as well, and and that, and demonstrating integrity as well with how you deal with people. You mentioned earlier, that you're not a huge fan of social media, and it is an interesting thing because it's really sad, I think, what people are willing to say to each other on social media these days, because they don't view those people as humans. They're not seeing the impact of that. And when you're sitting in a room or out on top of a mountain with someone from another country, and you're hearing about what they're experiencing and what their perspectives are, it really causes you to think that anyone on the end of any social media post or even just a thought about how something's going in a regional conflict, that there are humans on that other side, and that we need to think about that and think about the good of everyone.
And thanks for highlighting that. And I don't know, when I say that, there are some people who would say you shouldn't say that. No, I say it consciously because I think we need to be aware that not only we begin to accept that, just as for social media specifically, much of what is there is already contrived. It's not real. The person in the photo has been, I don't want to Photoshop. The smile is not always genuine. That's separating apart. The idea that you're unwilling to sometimes say what you would say face to face, but that physical connection, look me in the whites of my eyes, feel and hear the sound of the beating heart, make that real connection. But I think it goes even deeper. It takes away from this thing that when we fellowship, break bread, pray, meditate, do yoga, exercise, run a marathon together, hike, there's a connection of realness to it that you can't get from the glow of that screen. And I fear that within 20 years, we're going to see so many negative consequences from health, whether it's physical or mental or otherwise, and we know it. So in saying that, as I won't be on a soapbox much longer in this segment, when we come back, let's talk more about application, because I'm asking, what if someone, you mentioned like a mentor speaking to someone, they might be considering it in another 2 or 3 years. Look into it now, see what is required for that student that's considering A levels or something else. March the 1st is almost tomorrow, and then the requirements, what would be expected of the person, and do we know which one of the 17 places?
Dwayne, we never tell you.
I gotta ask. Inquiry minds want to know. All right, Ms. Aubrey Horton, when we come back, more to discuss on the World College, and then we'll see what happens at 1 o'clock. But stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Kim and Brack and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
This spring, say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Sale ends February 14th. Now is the time to see LA your way.
Hey, gentlemen, you want to make her Valentine's Day special? Take her shopping at the Cayman Islands Agriculture Show. You get all the food you can eat. She gets her plants and treats. It's a win-win situation. It's happening Ash Wednesday, February 14th. Visit their Facebook page or you can log on to CaymanAgriculture.com.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Ms. Robert Borden and the entire team at United World College alumni, the supporters and the sponsors, the parents who would at least, continually make that sacrifice with their children to upskill them, to encourage them, to ensure that, they get the very best in the opportunities. Do you have any sort of upcoming information seminars and presentations where people can come out to get more information?
Yeah, so we're not holding any public open call forums this year, but we are doing presentations within the schools. So we work really closely with a lot of the schools to come in and talk to their students about this opportunity to make sure that as many people as possible are hearing about it. So we're targeting that group. We also do, we do use social media to reach out to our young people.
You have to.
I saw a report recently that a far too large a number of students aged, I think it was 14 to 16, say that they're nearly constantly on YouTube. And so, advertisements there to try to reach that audience. But what we're looking for is students that have a sense of idealism. That's one of our values in UWC, and that's something that you and I have talked a lot about as well. And I read something interesting the other day. I'm sure you've heard of the movie The Butterfly Effect. And, you're familiar with this concept that, if we could only go back to history to this one point and change this one thing, it would be so different. But how often do we think about the one thing we could do today that would make the future different? So it's almost like we recognize looking back, here was the moment, this was the one thing that I could have done differently or that could have been done differently in history and would have absolutely changed the course. But we're not looking now for those flexion points, for these opportunities. And for a lot of young people, I think that UWC is that opportunity. I graduated from John Gray here in Cayman before I went to UWC, and I absolutely do not believe I would be where I am now if I hadn't gone to UWC. And that's not to say that I'd be somewhere terrible. No. But it really helped me to understand the difference that I want to make in the world. It made me really actually appreciate Cayman so much more once I'd had the chance to get this global experience. I'd always grown up being told, well, smart people should become doctors or lawyers. That's what it was.
Not talk show hosts.
The extra smart people become talk show hosts. I wasn't in that category. And so I said, all right, well, I'll be a lawyer because that's what smart people do. That's what the opportunity is in Cayman. And actually, when I went to UWC and I learned about one of my closest friends had left her country fleeing a civil war when she was young and had been a refugee in another country. And she'd been able to move back and the country was repairing itself. And seeing the corruption as well in a lot of the national governments, the way that people talked about what they wanted to see in their country. I said, wow, we have it really good in Cayman. And you know what? The kind of common denominator in a lot of this is what your government, the strength of your civil service. And so that's when I decided I wanted to be a public servant. I wanted to be part of policy, and someone took a chance on me. The first cabinet secretary, Mr. Orrick Connor, took a chance on me when I graduated from university, let me come work in the cabinet office, and I've been in the civil service now for 15 years. And I don't think that's the path I would have taken if I hadn't gone to UWC and started to appreciate the impact that you can have working in public service. But that sense of idealism is something that I always want to nurture within people.
And I'm so thankful that you shared that, because when we hear, it's said, oh, he's idealistic, there's a negative connotation, but the way you share it, nobody can come away other than hearing it in a positive way. Where are your standards and standards of excellence? And I've always believed that a country must attract and retain its best and brightest for not only in the country, but primarily and first and foremost within its public sector, so that there is a need for negotiation or instruction or like not only pride and loyalty to the country, but a skill set, so that it's not outmaneuvered, it's not caught flat-footed and the like. If we have that in our public service, or schools, or healthcare, our policy, or politicians, the bar continually raises, right? So, is that something that is innate in us? Do we inculcate it? Is it inherent? Do we nurture?
Well, I think that sense of idealism can express itself in so many ways. We've got UWC alumni in all areas, working in the arts, working at the lawyers. A lot of them have become lawyers and are doing amazing things in their firms. Doctors. We're everywhere, because that sense of idealism, that desire to improve things, that the values that you bring with you, they can improve. You can improve your community from any perspective. And so we're looking for students that have that from now, that want to make a difference, that want to become a change maker. So again, for applications this year, which are going to be due on March 1st, we're looking for students that'll be 16 or 17 years old in September. So they're 15 or 16 now, finishing either O-levels or they're year 12 if you're in public school, or the first year of A-levels, or whatever you are in the educational journey when you're that age, and have at minimum completed O-levels. And the academic program at UWC is what's known as the International Baccalaureate. So it's a unique program that's not just about the classes, the subjects. You actually have requirements for a number of hours for things like community service, physical activities, creative activities, and also additional types of learning that give you a unique perspective. So there's a requirement called theory of knowledge, where you learn, how do we know what we know? What are these sources of knowledge? How do we rely on them? How do we make sure that when we are developing positions that we understand why we hold them and we're able to defend them, and we're able to live in a way that is driven by our own morals and our ethics and these standards that we hold ourselves to. Because if you've got your own kind of moral compass on the inside, you don't have to have as many guardrails in society. You'll be wanting to do what's best. And so this International Baccalaureate education is about educating the whole person, not just your mind. But we are looking for academically strong students, because it is an academically rigorous program. It does lead to amazing opportunities for university as well. A lot of our alumni are at, the Oxbridges, the biggest universities in the UK, Ivy Leagues, and other large, really respected universities in the US are absolutely all on the table for UWC students. We've got a number of them that say, I wore my UWC sweatshirt to a history class once when I was in university. I went to Cornell University in New York after UWC. And my professor kind of walked up and he's like, "Oh, are you UWC?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "We love having UWC students in this class. Like, you just bring such a unique perspective." And it was my second or third week. And then after that, he was like, "Yeah, I could have told from your contributions initially, it's just a different way of thinking when you're exposed to that type of education." And something that I think is also really important to note is that we are a merit-based selection process. A lot of Caymanian students and students who are living in the Cayman Islands and growing up here don't really have the resources to be able to go to a boarding school. And we have a selection process where we commit to fully funding the financial need of every single student that we select. So we have amazing, amazing sponsors. Maples and Calder is our longest standing, largest donor. The All Foundation is also an incredible supporter of our mission. And that has allowed us to ensure that any student who deserves to go to UWC, who applies and puts themselves out there, that money is not going to be a barrier to them being able to have this awesome opportunity. And that's a real privilege that we have, to be able to do that for our students in partnership with the colleges as well.
I don't joke nor jest when I say I wish I was at that age to apply. And not knowing what I know now, it's the idea that you shared. We want to acquire knowledge, not just through passing some tests or the prospect of some great lucrative reward because of our careers. It's that contribution to society, to your small community, or globally. And as I listen to you, it's inspiring. Now, I think many times it's changing somewhat, but many times it's our parents who may want to be very protective, wanting to show the safety, and maybe saying, well, to the child, well, go here, do that instead. But from what we know, the campuses are safe. It's an absolutely fantastic environment. I don't think I'm exaggerating. So that one fair.
And if anyone does have concerns, we'd love to talk to you about it. I mentioned earlier our website is ky.uwc.org. We've got all our contact details there. You can reach us at uwcaymanislands@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from anyone who wants to learn a bit more about UWC.
Okay. Well, I want to take a very, very quick call. I believe we're honored to do so. Let's go to the phone and say welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello?
Dwayne?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Oh, good afternoon. I'm okay. And I was just listening to your guest. Good afternoon to your guest. I
Good
try
afternoon.
to make it quick, but I'm kind of long-winded sometimes. Anyway, I know the news is coming up. My son also went to
UWC, yes, ma'am.
Patrick Schmid. He went to Lester Pearson in Vancouver. And I think I was more nervous than he was because he had graduated from high school and had traveled quite a bit. But we went to surprise him for his birthday. But it does wonders for people because he is still friends with two girls, one boy and another girl one boy from Hungary and a girl from Nigeria. They communicate all the time. So it's a wonderful, wonderful program. Just do well in high school, so when you're chosen to get there, then it would be even more wonderful for you because it's one of the best that I've heard of and I've known about. Tara Rivers also went. I think she went to Wales, and Marlon Connolly, Bastille, she also went. So all of them. Congratulations, my dear. You speak well about it, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Schmidt, and I really appreciate the endorsement.
Thank you so much. And Patrick, another phenomenal intellect. But as she shared, we've got 4 decades. Miss Nana, 4 decades.
Yes, no, I can hardly believe it, but I'm hoping, we've got some new people getting involved with the committee, and that's actually something as well that anyone who has a feeling that this is the type of movement that they're interested in. It's not just about the students. Our national committee, we're looking to do more potentially events this year and other ways to get involved. So you can follow us on social media as well. We're UWC Cayman Islands on Facebook and on Instagram to learn more, and uwccaymanislands@gmail.com. We'd love for anyone to reach out to learn more.
All right. Well, we can help to remind people that the deadline is the 1st of March. Whatever we can do, whether in person or phone interview, let us know. Certainly, the selection process is complete. Open invitation to come on with the selectees, the awardees, the honored recipients.
Love to do that.
All right. Yes, Aubrey Borden and the team over at United World College. All right, let's pause and take a break, hear the news, and come back and join us. Stay tuned.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The RCIPS warned that persons removing or pulling aside police barricades will be arrested if you are found to be obstructing police in the execution of their duties. These barricades are put in place for the safety of the general public. Do not remove them. In international news, the Ukraine-born winner of the Miss Japan beauty pageant has given up her crown after a tabloid report revealed her affair with a married man. Karolina Shino was crowned Miss Japan 2 weeks ago, but her win sparked public debate due to her heritage. While some welcomed the naturalized citizen's crowning, others said she didn't represent traditional Japanese beauty ideals. In its initial response to the report last week, the pageant organizers defended Ms. Shino, saying she hadn't known the man was married. However, on Monday, organizers said she had confessed to knowing about the man's marriage and family. Toby Keith, a major country music star who sold tens of millions of records, has died at the age of 62. Keith rose to fame in the 1990s with songs such as Should Have Been a Cowboy, which topped the country music chart. He announced in June 2022 that he had been diagnosed with stomach cancer, an illness the star said was debilitating. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 9th of September 1937. The second of 8 children born to Henry Kitchener Connolly and Olive Connolly, fondly known as Big H to his family and friends. Like so many other Caymanian boys and men, young Hinton went to sea at the tender age of 17, working with national bulk carriers for 5 years. During his tenure at sea, Hinton sailed on many different ships, namely the Ulysses, Old Titan, St. Clair, Petrolor, Petra Sea, and Petra King. He sailed between Portland, Maine to Venezuela. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip to LA. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Sale ends February 14th. Now is the time to see LA your way.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And as we get into the discussion with Nobi, a quick reminder on behalf of the United World College and its alumni here at the local committee. Application, open now. The deadline is the 1st of March. You're probably familiar with all the social media, so you can check them out. If you got questions, you might know Miss Dana and others. But check me here too. I'll give you information. Please, as parent, teacher, and a student, give strong consideration to at least find out more information about United World College. Well, my good friend, hailing from the east, and they said the wise come from the east. Nobi, how are you, man?
Good, man, good. Just a little teeth thing, I'm good. Yeah.
What's that thing that we give little babies, with teeth and powder? Should we get some for you? No, man, no. I only joke. I know you shared it with me, and you share as much as you want, but it's just a quick reminder and a great reminder that we go through life, we do things, and without any sort of warning and expectation, things happen, and it can, cause us to have to delay some things, maybe have to sort of forego some things, right? But you're always appreciative, man. It's good. It's good. What do you think about this weather we're having, man?
Good weather for me, not so good for the people close to the shore, I guess.
So on your side of the island, it's calmer for now?
Yeah, it's a lot calmer, yeah.
All right. And then on this side, we're seeing rough seas and the like. Me and Miss Aubrey were talking earlier, and hopefully people, let me phrase it this way. For me, I think people are sensible, right? You see crashing waves, it's like a volcano. You wouldn't look into the volcano and go, oh, that looks hot. You wouldn't go to the edge. I mean, I don't think you would, right? But yet, if we're cooking, sometimes do we stick our heads in the boiling water in the pot, or be careful in how we open the lid and stir the pot? I don't know. I would think so, right? So I say that to people, enjoy it. For those who are in authority, whether police and otherwise, don't be so authoritative and aggressive and whichever, but and preventing people from enjoying it. But as an individual, don't be so foolish and put yourself in harm's way, Cause
I did something similar this weekend with that bar. Yeah.
And I was saying, but that was a big bar, man. I mean, the picture was about 5 pounds.
It was actually 20. You asked Graham, it's gonna be 1 pound.
No. I don't know how big the bar was, but the picture that you showed me, the picture weighed 5 pounds. That was a big bar. Right? That was a big bar.
Yeah. But now the mistake I made was, not mistake, but I had no other option. We went out looking jacks, 'cause I love jacks.
Yeah.
And we were catching jacks, and this barra took the line for my girlfriend, and it just, when I looked, there was no line left.
Yeah.
So basically, we pulling them in. I didn't expect to get a fish that size inside the reef.
Yeah, man.
And didn't have a hook stick or gaff but luckily, because we had to fight him so long on a very small line, that I ended up being able to weigh him down, that he got tired and then took him in. Yeah. But that's a risk to actually grab a fish in the water. And some of my friends sent me and say, those words. Surprised I didn't hear nothing from Graham, but anyway. But it's gonna be some hating thing. So
You know what? It's because you caught a 20-pound bar and he didn't. That's what it is.
No.
I almost came to ask you for a piece, but it didn't come out of the sound, so I say no.
Well, we tried, we tested, we did it.
You tried it first?
Yeah. We did check it out, man. But the thing is, bar inside the reef, chances are very minimal. But that was a very big bar.
No, man. Yeah. As we talked to Nobi, I'm glad you shared that, because as Orbis shared earlier, you live in Cayman, and for the most of us, you only really appreciate when you get to travel or when you go overseas to live or to work, to school. And like you, those of us who have friends who are, either here for most of the year or who have moved here, you get to appreciate what many people so easily take for granted. Even this weather right now. Yeah. I know some people who go, let's see the next one.
Yeah.
But this is probably one of the larger nor'westers we had in a fairly long time. I mean, I don't remember it being this nice, quote unquote.
Yeah. This was unexpected this time of year.
Yeah.
So I can think back of when people said they had hurricanes during Christmas.
Yeah.
Probably a similar kind of thing occurred.
What's interesting though, I'm now hearing the word batted about a little bit more frequently, but growing up, gale force winds.
Yeah.
Right. That disappeared. Now it could be because I wasn't paying much attention, but I don't think it was as prominent in the vernacular. But increasingly, one of two references to it now is that, because the world is globalized now and everything got to be the same hymnal. Is it a people or is it a recognition? Really don't know, but you used to hear about gale force winds much more frequently when you were younger, right?
Yeah,
around Christmas time and the like.
Yeah, well, the one thing I look back to it, think of, when you think of the changes. 1932 was the last major hurricane in Grand Cayman.
But either that or the last election, I'm not sure.
and what was it named?
Yeah.
1932 hurricane. It wasn't named.
Just
So they had to name storms after that, and I don't think anybody can tell us how strong that hurricane was. But it was a strong one, right?
Right.
So nowadays they can tell you, if it's category 5, category 4, whatever. So everything's changing in the weather patterns and everything.
But to your point, and I say this deliberately to encourage people to inquire, trust but verify, and don't just accept because it was said. And I share this with absolute confidence and greatest respect, and an understanding that my parents said we could disagree with them. All right, they had a view. Didn't mean that we would get our way, but they would put a view we could disagree. You just got to be respectful. Didn't mean we couldn't quote unquote argue, but there was no maliciousness, no physicality, no expletives. You got to be respectful, right? The Hurricane Ivan. You speak to people today. There are some who question, well, how do we know how powerful it was if publicly reported the official instruments presumably, stop working when they reach 150 miles an hour? If other people who are, for whatever better word, amateur weather enthusiasts, say they're reporting winds of excess of 230 miles an hour, if people from other places said, and all I'm saying is that we need to ensure that official, information and data is timely and accurate, verifiable, right? But what
Well, sorry
no,
but that's what I I give our government, Cayman in general, a lot of credit with things because, be honest, we have put a lot of things in place that a lot of other Caribbean islands mightn't have to say. I don't know, they might have, but to think that we now have our Doppler weather system. The only thing is, if anyone's out there listening that in charge of it, it was always nice that I could go on and see the view. So before my tours in the morning, I'll know if it's going to be raining or not, or next day. But now and again, it seems like it goes down for us, but I think they have access to it.
Well,
so that's a big start of how predictable the weather can be and verifiable, I guess. With I guess they verify somehow else.
But it sort of segs into my thought process in terms of ownership, collective involvement, and input. So as a community, if we ensure that the national ethos is that information is there. So take weather, for instance. I know some people now, close as a family and friends, who are just elated. They love this. They love weather. They talk about the weather. And to be able to get information, to see the radar and to see the projected rain and to monitor the winds, I mean, they're in heaven, right? Or hog heaven, as some would say. But with that, let's say the Doppler radar and or other information, what if we could leverage that technology so that it's not being monetized either to government, but more importantly, to a private sector, individual entity, but it's accessible to your schools for the geography lesson, to you, in your business endeavors, to the weather enthusiast. You go on relatively easy. It's there. It's not filtered. It's not delayed. You get to see it in this raw form. Now, there may be other process. As opposed to, well, what if this thing is available, but only sometimes here, for whatever reason, but not always? Wouldn't it be better if it's open source, more publicly accessible, and usable to all and sundry?
I think it is, though.
No, but always, right? Cause,
well, now, because I think it's expensive for them to keep it. But, it usually is. I share it with all of my guests on my tours. And, I mean, I like I said, I think they've done a good job with it.
All right. So let me then ask, right? And for those who are listening, I'm grateful to know, not only for the company, but sharing for intellect on your personal experience, but your, unwavering passion for environmental protection. So we've seen the weather now, and there are many. Before 7 this morning, I can share that there were some people who, out of concern, not just their jobs, but over and above their duties, have checked certain coastlines and not only for the safety of workers who are coming aboard, but for others.
No,
Looking at it going, wow, I wonder what's going to happen to the coastline. Is this thing going to be an impediment? In your view, what potential good could come of this as we look at maybe changes or amending some things, getting rid of certain things, adding certain things in terms of, I don't want to use words like walls and, other.
Well, I think the good that's going to come out of this particular one, I mean, this damage that might have occurred is that they're going to probably form another board to deal with the rest of beach restoration. Because I know they went through two already, so there might be another one. But the reality of this is that I think they're going to assess the fact that there's some huge concerns, because now we have, I understand, millions of dollars damage possibly even with vehicles and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't know. The question I gotta ask is, how could planning approve a car park so close to the beach on the ground? Like, how does that work? How does it drain? I try and understand that, But anyway, it is what it is.
No. But this is where I look at knowledge and education and information as being hand in hand, and it isn't about a piece of paper that you get or a test that you pass, right? And when we look at some of the things that are happening now, there'll be some who will advocate for something because it benefits them, without concern about the impact negatively on others, right? And then we all pay for someone's mistake, or we're unwilling to.
Well, I can pay too, because it seems like if I ever go try to get a plant and I get it messed up now. But you can't help but think, like, why? So, having said that, I think that there are really some concerns there that we have to look at. I think the high water mark has to be established, rather than it varying. I understand that that's something they're trying to do. It has to be something that is reasonable, rather than,
So should I be driven?
And
sorry, go ahead.
There should be. I think there should be an entity that determines that, because I understand. Maybe I'm wrong, but I understand that a surveyor would just go out and do it and say that's the high water mark. Shouldn't be determined by a surveyor. Should be something that is actually verified by another entity. I guess planning did that. I don't know, because all the stuff we see happening is weird. But I don't know that much about the whole entire process. But we know something isn't right for what we see happening.
So then, as I listen to you, I'm hearing that as a wider community, and I'll ask it this way: who should drive that process? Should we leave it for the policymakers that are appointed, the politicians that are elected, some government entity like Department of Environment or others, or should it be that we look at it and we draw from good sense, so that there isn't this arbitrary thing that is a lot of discretion?
Well, everything has to have a motion from the politicians, right? Or in the ministry perspective, and push it in order for it to happen, right? First, it has to be something that is accepted, because if the minister doesn't accept it, the minister that deals with that section, then it's not going to work.
But what if that thing, and I know you just speak in general, right?
Yeah.
What if, I'm not going to give a specific example because I tend to find that people will focus on that and then they're here to mess you. But what if, there's this thing, and it could be a good thing, but the ministry, so it's a political aspect, for whatever you said, no, we don't want this, but it's a good thing. Why should that be the case? Why should it not be, this is a good thing, this is how it should be?
Boy, unfortunately, we're governed by these things, and that's the way it is. And I agree with it. I follow it, but we need to be some rational. But before you go there, Sterling, first I want to say is that normally the reason why we started coming on this radio was not for me to do it anyway. Mainly, it's about culture, heritage, and I just wanted to just bring that out. Not because I'm not doing anything outrageous or whatever. I can only afford a little 14-foot boat. I can go from the beach and just throw a little bit of things, but I'm enjoying what I consider my Cayman culture and heritage, and that's the thing that I'm hoping people get if they look at my posts and they see what I'm doing, because so often everybody else is enjoying what they like in Cayman, and we're they're having a good time. What about us? What about what we like to do?
That's it.
And this is something that, I mean, anybody that know me from East End, me and my best friend, family too, Cardell, Tuck, we used to fishing almost every day of the summer. Yeah. As long as I could remember.
Yep.
And I mean, his son took that up. Other people, other kids in the district and all that, and it's something that we do. That's why I'm so concerned about the protection measures that they're making, but not really looking out for people who fish in locals.
Yeah.
That is important. We want to keep up our tradition of what we've done.
Yeah. I'm so glad that
and what we do.
Yeah. I was going to bring it back and saying that in this whole discussion, right, we started talking about the 20-pound bar that you caught. And I was going to ask just then, how many of us, right, no matter our wealth or occupation, whether we're retired, whether we're on vacation, have actually taken time to enjoy the things that not only people come here, but that we ourselves like. I was talking to a friend the other day, and just in passing, without even realizing it, I was thinking, going to Barcas almost every day. Going up fishing in the summers were great.
Yeah.
But we somehow forget that. Do our children enjoy that? Can they enjoy it?
Yeah.
Right? And this isn't to reminisce and necessarily be in that space where people... But I want to invite people to call and to understand that as we look at the weather now, I don't apologize for believing in God. I don't apologize for saying that His hand, His mercy can dictate whether those seas wash ashore and wash away the roads. I'm prayerful that He'll be merciful, right? But look at what is happening and what could. Right? You talk about the 32 storm, you talk about Ivan. And looking at that now, what are we doing now so that we are not undoing or destroying or somehow denying future generations, right? And you went out in the boat, your little 14-foot, you got a, your Jackson, you got your Barra.
Yeah.
But look at their life, right?
Well, again, the things, what they should be doing though is they should be setting limits, and they should be putting in place, permits. That's just my opinion, because you can't just have an open-ended conservation measure like they have, which is just certain periods of the year, which it doesn't look like it's regulated to me. I don't see. Yeah. I've only seen marine people out there looking for the guys that are going into conch area and taking conch too much lobster.
Should the permit be for everybody? You, visitor, resident.
Well, they have to be a separation, different types of permits, and that's what I'm trying to get at. The locals, the people that have been fishing. East End is known as a sleeper fishing village. That's what it has been. People have been fishing for a long time. Yes, other parts that came on too, but I know East End has been. Some families make a living from fishing. Yeah, but this should be considered in our conservation. It's no different from places like Hawaii and other places where locals have a different type of permit for fishing than others who visit, and or others who do whatever,
And I think sometimes, as you were sharing, I'm wondering to what extent it could be, for whatever reason, people are more accustomed to doing this and eating this type of fish this size, without them being properly informed. It could be, as some have tried to justify, because of making ends meet. It could be any reason. But if we destroy a space in a place, whatever that is, then that's destroyed. So are we not having enforcement, sufficient education, respect and appreciation for what is being achieved? And is this somehow being skewed in such a way that, as you said earlier, you're here to talk about, as you've been on, the culture, the heritage, that idea of the importance of it. How many of us on Grand Cayman will consciously drive to East End on a weekend just to get away from the hustle and bustle, to see the sea?
Quite a lot.
And they're not leaving.
I'll go to Kim and Brack and Little Cayman, because those are places where
there you go, right?
So
to our listeners, right? The phone lines are open, 949-8037, 949-6990.
Yeah.
You WhatsApp call. We'll take that to her, Ms. Susan.
Yeah.
WhatsApp, 925-3261.
Yeah.
And share with us.
So,
yeah.
So the only thing I wanted to point out is that what I've done over the years, like, honestly, I actually never started I never used rod and reels before. So,
Handline, huh?
So hand lines,
All
right?
of it is,
and,
man.
and always getting snappers and stuff with
Yeah.
Rasta, and going to the bank and my best friend, I can tell you, and enjoyable times. And I went out, I think it was maybe 3 years ago. We went out, and I took Reagan McLean, my next door neighbor. He went out with me. Amazing kid, man. Flying up there, and he brought these rod and reels. I'm like, boy, I don't know where you're going with that for. and trust me, he was catching almost the same amount of fish as me. And I said, why? I'm getting my hands all cut up, and this is the good way, but you got rod and reels. So I decided to get into that. So when you see me doing like casting from the beach, do you know how long it took me to get that down pack? Took me. I just decided I wanted to do something without bait, without because this is more you're not using bait or anything like that, and try to attract the fish, and it worked, and I was just kind of amazed with that. So we're doing fishing, we're actually evolving into new techniques and new things, and we can protect the environment too, because there are other means of fishing where you can go deeper, like jigging, and get fish as well.
A deep
and
drop, huh?
with just jigging with just lures.
I
so
know,
all these people are using now. So it's very interesting for me. It looks very simple, but very interesting. Catching that bar on the sideline I did, it's very interesting. Trust me.
or bringing those
yeah,
yellow jacks to the shore from the backyard.
Yeah, it's fun. There's a lot of fun, man.
Right.
So I'm just saying, I'm encouraging people, and I'm learning. So I'm trying to get like the guys I see up in East End catching all the big wahoos. When I catch a wahoo and stuff, then I would be making it big. But until then, I'm still small fry.
Stay in your lane, right?
Yeah, stay in my lane. Just yeah.
All right. Let's pause and take a break. When we come back, I want to invite you to share as you wish, right? But the idea of environment and its protection, our coastlines, but it should be inland as well in terms of our trees and what are we doing even with some of the vegetation that we may look at and go as bush and dismissive. I mean, the wire wine, for instance, how prevalent it is. I'll share this as we go into the break. We were talking with our culture society members. The show is next week, and I was saying how I prefer, a Jew plum. Right, I was called with different names. A good friend and his wife called out the show. Come get some. Great fellowship, right? But I haven't had. I don't know how long. So this is what we preserve and promote, right?
Yeah. Well, I did this photography, and it's actually displayed at the Ritz-Carlton in the gallery there, and some up for sale and stuff. But basically, it was called Sea Grape and Cayman Culture. And it's because I regard sea grape as being so important, because we grew up eating sea grape, and along the shoreline, it was a lot of sea grape trees, and those trees were there protecting the shoreline from erosion. And I don't see a lot of people even planting sea grapes anymore.
Yeah. Let's pick up on that, because what are we doing when we're planting, right? Are we conscious of the impact on the coastline? What about inland? Give us a shout, 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp call, or you can message on WhatsApp, 925-3261. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to a new year with Digicel. Elevate your mobile experience by switching to our prepaid or postpaid plans. Enjoy more data, seamless communication, and uninterrupted entertainment. Plus, make the switch now for a chance to win exciting rewards. Stay connected, entertained, and make 2024 your year with Digicel. Because better connections make a better year.
Say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip to LA. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Sale ends February 14th. Now is the time to see LA your way.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The 6:15 Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers and the motoring public of wastewater infrastructure upgrade works on the southbound lane on West Bay Road adjacent to Water's Edge. Preliminary activities will take place on Monday, 5th of February, with the main works beginning on Tuesday, February 6th. These works are anticipated to last for several weeks. During this time, access to the southbound lane along West Bay Road will be somewhat, but not entirely restricted. Traffic control measures will be in place to maintain two-way traffic throughout the works. Traffic signs will be in place in the general vicinity of the works. All motorists are asked to drive with caution. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
Do you own a 1996 to 2016 Honda vehicle? There is an ongoing urgent safety recall regarding faulty Takata airbags that can seriously injure occupants in Honda vehicles. Please go to HondaCayman.com/recalls to check if your vehicle is affected. The automotive industry continues to face an unprecedented challenge in the recall and replacement of millions of Takata airbag inflators. Honda is committed to addressing the needs and concerns of our customers who are affected by this safety issue. Honda stands behind the safety and quality of our products. The protection of the drivers and passengers in Honda vehicles is our paramount concern. Please go to HondaCayman.com/recalls or call us at 949-5525 to check if your vehicle is affected by this urgent Honda safety recall.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks to Nobi Edwards for sitting with us, man. I want to ask through you, from the perspective that if in the Cayman community, specifically, right, small, it should be manageable. It should be easier to identify things that need to be addressed, improved, corrected, amended, or the like, right? Solutions at least offered. If the community is either by default complicit because we're not doing something, if there are allegations of corruption, if they're incompetence, all these things are seemingly negative. I wonder if that is magnified because as a people, my word, we lack courage to share. And I look at you, you're here, no ulterior motive, you're very, very passionate. Hey, the environment. The last comments going into the break were, I don't see people planting sea grape trees. Now, for some people, they go, well, I got to do anything. But they were, them and Coco Plum, they were there. They were good food. They attracted the birds. even before we know the potential benefits to the environment and ecology, it was good. But now that we know, shouldn't we be more conscious? As another C today, you know. So where do we get to that space? Where how can we borrow from you that courage, that sense of, you know?
You mean in terms of allegations of corruption?
And well, not even so much that, but you can. But speaking out and standing up and saying, hey, let's do something that is positive.
Well, apparently a lot of people will speak up. Like Elvis McKeever spoke up the other day about certain things, and you know, he always speaking up. But obviously, the people who speak up, we've had this tendency of thinking that something wrong with them. You know, that they're speaking up.
Okay,
you know, and you know, and we probably get that here on our end as well.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say, like I wanna say to all those great people who come up to me about coming on the show and how positive it is, and I appreciate that. And we're only trying to bring positive vibes.
Yeah.
And what I am is just a guy who believes in my culture and heritage.
Yeah,
That's
man.
it.
Yeah, man.
Not disrespectful to other nationalities or anybody, but
Yeah.
I strongly believe in my culture and heritage, and I see it's eroding away. And I want to be a part of that change, to say it's okay to be Cayman. It's okay for me. And like I said, we've talked about it a long time. As a lot of people would say, well, are you from East End and Stena and have this negative thing? It don't matter to me.
No.
I've never pulled away from, you know, my identity as a person coming from East End.
I like how you would refer to your grandfather as the true Naya man. Right?
Yeah, and we need more people like that. Just be true to who you are. You know, I've heard some people say, you know, I gotta move out of East End to make something and all that. I never looked at life that way.
I want to actually speak to that, if I might, right, through you. And as you say that, you know, I look at my parents, my mother, but I look at my father, because like your grandfather, meaning that they left Cayman, you know, sometimes they were barely beyond 10 years old, you know, their first trips on to Mesquite, or they might not even have been 16 when they went, you know, on the vessels, right? But to sort of the first point, Mr. Elvis McKeever, I remember on a couple of occasions he would call off air to say, you know, boy, I got a little riled up, and I sorry for, you know, how I express myself, right? And the respect and appreciation that he would call and apologize, right? But as I said to him, he's saying something from a very, very considered perspective. He's saying it with an impassioned plea because he understands the importance of it. And as he has shared, yeah, you know, different people express themselves differently. But why should we deny his voice? Why should we, as a community, discredit him because he sounds like this, he used this particular type of language? Not only because we'll take that same tone from somebody else and celebrate them, whether it's a rap star, somebody from the UK, Canada, whichever, right? We'll accept that, but not our own. Back to your point. Oh, you're from East End, you got to move out. Oh, you're West Bay. Nothing good comes from West Bay. So should we then, as a people, in identifying and respecting our own little villages, our own districts, now move to a space? And I'm trying to do this consciously. I would joke, you heard me say as an attempt to joke, Caymanian by birth and West Bay by grace, to start to think of us as one, right? And by so doing, ask, why is it that people have to conclude that because you have a strong and an express passion for Cayman, why did that have to translate into being anti something else, right? And I'm thankful that, like you know, we have people who, perhaps because they weren't born here, they maybe not citizens or whatever. I don't even want to call them foreign nationals, because their love for this country is so real and so evident that through them we get to appreciate what we take for granted. So why can't we do the same and tell people where to get off when they're disrespectful? And why, when we do that, do we have to be seen by our own as, boy, you know, look at you, No. I mean, you invite me into your home, you invite me into your district. I'm honored. So why can't we do that with our own as we do with others?
Boy, I tell you, I tell you, overall, what you just pointed out there about the people and some people just as passionate about Cayman as we are.
Yeah.
I can tell you that this has been quite an amazing journey for me, doing tours and having an Airbnb, because I've met so much good people.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I don't understand it, but I think because I promote it as a local product, trying a local experience, people are looking at those are the ones that are attracted to it. But
authentic one.
But the thing about it is that a lot of people like to see Cayman, and I'm hoping that their representatives or somebody could tell them that what they hear me saying, right? Although my little bit of the tourism product might not be what the Ritz or whatever is, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of those people are looking for that local experience.
Yeah, man.
They're looking to come to places like East End, to come to places like Northside, to go to places like West Bay and meet up on somebody that is a local to give them a good experience.
Let me challenge
That's
us.
not against anyone else. I'm just saying.
Let me challenge us. Is it that the reason why we can't appreciate it is that we don't see what it would be if it's lost? Is it that we don't appreciate it because for whatever reason we have this lack of love and respect for our own ourselves? And you say you can't miss,
I don't think so. I think what it is that, and I mean, you could easily get caught into it because, or you could get into it because what it is Cayman is growing so fast, and everybody's access to money and able to build homes. Everybody wants to do what they see on the in books and all that.
Yeah.
Everybody, not a lot of people want to stay in the old, right? Not a lot of people want to do the old stuff. They want to get more development, more stuff. So having said that, they think that what is the local product?
Yeah. So
fishing, that's not to me, or just example.
So is it because I've had a couple of opportunities with students to ask questions, and I found that they do not have sufficient instruction either in school, in homes, and in the wider community. Because remember, they're young, and what they see is what's around them, whether it's social media, and sometimes it's not just ill-informed, it's sometimes just shared inaccurate. But let me ask, from that perspective then, is it that, again, we don't value it because, you're just fishing, that's an old place, I need to be knocked down and rebuilt? Is it that there are people who understand consciously, we displace this thing, we destroy this thing, we discard this thing, we move these people out, that's more for us? And then there's a good friend over the Christmas made a comment, and it was just a conversation. It comes from a perspective of a strong intellect. I think given the one or two elders assembled, right, inspiring that his thought process. And I thought he used the phrase, cultural colonialism. And is that really a phrase or a word? But just the notion that as a people we come together, right? We celebrate, all the different nationalities and ethnicities. We look at the country and see how easily, right, we've taken so much for granted, and how without any great effort, we have something that many people could never achieve, but yet we let it be discarded. I mean, you've got sea grapes in your backyard.
Yeah.
Right? How many people want it can have it? Go back to the example yesterday of the Jew plums, right? Yeah. The kindness of a friend. Hey, I heard you. Let me share with you. The willingness to share, but also the fact that they exist, but can you often think of how many places you can go and find Jew plums, though? Yeah. Right.
Well, just in case everybody on my out there listening, that some people might want to come take my tour. We had Mr. Dwayne Ebanks came out the other day.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is on my tour.
Yeah.
And there's a gentleman there in the district. That's what I said. Like, I just can't think of a better place for me to be doing my tours, because everybody has been totally receptive and have allowed me to go in their yards and stuff and do these tours and taste sea grapes in some cases and June plums.
No, not June plum.
June plum.
No, because they're different, right?
Yeah.
But
the
size,
and they got the small ones, don't they? Yeah.
And the reason why I have sort of to interject, right? But the reason why I do it deliberate is that we use things and don't realize there's a significant. You know the difference. That's not what it is. Yeah. We don't correct sometimes, but we don't realize how important it is that the callaloo. I am not gonna let that go because it's something that I love. But I know that there's a distinct difference between the callaloo that I like, that I grew up with, the smaller, thinner, sweeter, greener stalk, as opposed to the thicker, bitter, redder stalk, right? Don't like it. You can cut it in the field and eat it, right? But it's tender. Now, doesn't mean that there are different varieties, but if you get rid of this one, I hope he doesn't mind me referring to him as the great Dr. Jackman, right? When you were grafting trees, I call budding. He shared with us many times the Cayman mango tree. Its stalk is there, great to take and graft in other varieties. But because that is an established tree, it has. He talked about the science behind it and why it's so important because it's there and whatever. And it'll take as opposed to bringing something in new. But over time, he expressed, if you're not careful, you won't have many of the local Cayman mango trees. So said, so done, right? Now, many of us, as Caymanians, would say, no, boy, my favorite is this one. And you ask them, when was the last time you had a long mango? Right? Where can you find one? It doesn't mean that the Julie is the best or the starch, if I can ever get one, right? But it just shows you, if you don't respect and protect what you have, it's soon gone now. Yeah. Just like the, boy. So is that, being inspired by Miss Aubrey earlier, the idealism, is that what that is? Is it the recognition that you're doing what you're doing, not because you can't be doing anything else or making more money elsewhere, but because you see the importance of it? So with this break in tour, when we come back, let's challenge each other. Let's champion the things that are important. All right, to our listeners, stay tuned.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back. The 55th Cayman Islands Agricultural Society Agriculture Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 14th. Cooking competition, pony rides, petting zoo, beautiful baby show, Miss Agriculture Queen and Princess competition, lots of local musical entertainment, Roscoe the Mechanical Bull, and so much more. Gates open at 7 a.m. with ample parking. General admission is only $10. Children ages 2 through 11, $5, and under 2 are free. For more information, visit them on Facebook or Instagram at Cayman Agriculture. The 55th Agriculture Show in Lower Valley, Ash Wednesday, February 14th.
This spring, say hello to Los Angeles. Explore foodie havens, local markets, art exhibitions, cultural shows, theater, you name it. Getting to LA is easy with 2 non-stop flights weekly aboard Cayman Airways. Midweek airfares are now on sale from just $410 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Check out our socials for more inspiration and visit CaymanAirways.com to book. Sale ends February 14th. Now is the time to see LA your way.
Welcome to a new year with Digicel. Elevate your mobile experience by switching to our prepaid or postpaid plans. Enjoy more data, seamless communication, and uninterrupted entertainment. Plus, make the switch now for a chance to win exciting rewards. Stay connected, entertained, and make 2024 your year with Digicel. Because better connections make a better year.
Attention Cayman Brac customers, it's time to connect to pipe water and tap into savings. Save money with a lower rate than trucked water. Take advantage of a waived connection fee until the 31st of December 2024. Plus, being connected to pipe water means you don't need to buy bottled water, reducing the plastic waste at the landfill. Contact Water Authority today to access a reliable source of pure, wholesome, and affordable drinking water straight from the tap.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. Make sure this is where I can feel it and hear it and see it and sound it and taste it. There we go. Nobi Edwards. I was going to consider one thing, but let me ask this first. I invite you to share if there's anything else. But from your perspective, there's no question that there are things that the country should be looking at. If you were the hired consultant, or if you had, a view to share that others may take on board, what are some of the things that we need to look at? We understand cost of living, housing, the environment. We understand, all these things. But what is it that we need to look at more closely?
First of all, they wouldn't hire me as a consultant.
You can volunteer.
But I think the main thing is cost of living, and the cost of living is affected by many things, and even by the investment in the country right now. Although no one wants to slow that down, but other than that, I think that there has to be consideration for how do we generate ongoing revenues to take care of our expenses. And when I say that, we can't be dependent on or permit land purchases, because we keep reselling properties. And as we keep reselling the properties, then it only attracts a minimal return to the government.
Yeah.
And if we keep doing that, eventually we're going to find land values, which we already find, are too high. When they're too high, that means the people in your country, I know everybody's saying, go get an education, go do this, go do that. Yeah, not everybody can get an education. But I believe that everybody in Cayman, or Caymanians, they should have the right to own a home, or the ability to own a home. Yeah. But if we keep things going, although this is probably the same thing in most other countries, but I think it's it's happening a little bit faster here now. Yeah. So there's multiple things. So we have to have that, and I think I'm being open with my views here, and I can get shot down. I believe that if someone's coming and gonna purchase property in Cayman, there should be a property tax. I think there should be ongoing tax. I think they should reconsider what they did many years ago. I think we're back in 1998 when they were doing new revenue measures and trying to get most of the hotels and stuff to pay impact fee. I don't know if you remember that. Or big establishments, right? And that would be an ongoing fee. Again, I'm going to get hit for that. but there has to be some. There has to be
you usually
some,
have it all.
yeah, there has to be some ongoing
Yeah.
way for us to get revenue rather than relying on the things we're relying on, and then saying we have too much work permits or we have too much of this or too much people investing. We can't do anything else, it seems like right now, for the kind of economy or the kind of revenue base that we're working on. So again, like I said, I could be wrong. I'm just putting my opinion out there, what I've been looking at, but it's just it's one of those things that we have to have a strong and hard look at, and somebody eventually gotta grow some extra members and make some strong, hard decisions, not decisions of making a port in an area that we should be protecting or nothing like that, or making a cruise ship area. I'm talking about strong decisions in how our policies and our revenue stream is, and that I don't think that's happened in a long time. All they're doing is adding on to the fees, making it more difficult for locals because it keep going up. The other thing I think they need to renew is we can't continue to have our insurance going through the roof like it is. Health insurance, yes, we want to have good health care, but health insurance, property insurance, and things like that is killing people, right? Other than that, if we're gonna give health insurance, if we're gonna make it mandatory, it should be that every health insurance that someone gets, they're allowed and able to go and seek seek their health benefits or healthcare services with any doctor's office.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now some places don't accept certain cards.
Yeah.
Right? And they say because this will not pay. That's not a concern of us, the consumer. That's the concern of Health Practice Commission or whoever it is that deals with regulatory commission that regulates the insurance companies and whoever else is not paying. Yeah. So those are things that I don't know why it hasn't been considered. Why are we lagging behind with that? Because we want people to get good health care and be able to afford to do their pre-checks and other things. Maybe they need to review the whole SHIC plan. Yeah. And have it that it can include a little bit more for people. These are the things, I mean, again, like I said, it's a hard road. It's a hard thing to do, but I'm just thinking out of things that I see that affects me, affect others that I know, and the amount of people you see passing away or getting sick. And in a lot of cases, if they have a good healthcare plan, they probably would have fared better. And if the healthcare plan, meaning that they would have been accepted more or had the money to do what they do. But if someone is getting the SHIC plan or someone's getting a basic plan, I mean, it's limited. Right? And then they can't go and get services because they're saying, oh, but we don't take your card. It's crazy.
All right, we'll go to the news break, and then when we come back, we invite others to share with us. So stay tuned.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Please be advised of the following current road closures due to the severe weather conditions. Northwest Point Road in the vicinity of Cracked Conch, junction of Northwest Point Road, Town Hall Road, Eastern Avenue, and North Church Street, Bodden Road, Mary Street, and Boilers Road. In international news, the authorities in the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro have declared a health emergency as they try to contain the spread of dengue fever. The incidence of the mosquito-borne disease quadrupled in Brazil in January compared to the same month last year. Rio has registered 10,000 cases so far this year, compared to 23,000 for the whole of 2023. Donald Trump does not have presidential immunity and can be prosecuted on charges of plotting to overturn the 2020 election, a U.S. court has ruled. Mr. Trump had claimed in the landmark legal case that he was immune from criminal charges for acts he said fell within his duties as president. But Tuesday's unanimous ruling in Washington, D.C. struck down that claim. It is a setback for Mr. Trump, who has 4 years cited presidential immunity while battling multiple cases. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp message or WhatsApp call 925-3261. And to Nobi, the Naaman photographer himself. Right? but I'm hoping that through you, right? And I go back to the initial banter with catching the 20-pound barra, the importance of being able to not only enjoy the space in which we live, but to preserve it, protect it, promote it. I'm told, by restaurateurs that part of the training when they hire in new staff and opening a new restaurant, they want the staff to be familiar with the menu. They have meals for their staff, so they'll know what it's like, and encourage them to eat, to share, so that they can honestly tell, the diners as they come. If in the Cayman context, if we are not living or able to live in Cayman, you talked about the cost of living and the inaccessibility of housing or health care. Yeah. What if Caymanians say, well, you know what, boy, I really need to move to whatever country that is because it's cheaper. Mm-hmm. And whether that's a conscious act or it just happens, because of the circumstances, that exit may create space for more entry by others. Are we even conscious that could be happening or potentially could happen?
People are leaving.
People are leaving.
People are already leaving. People are investing outside of Cayman.
Yeah.
You have to, because it's like everything else. What Cayman is so expensive to invest, so people are investing outside.
Okay.
And if you can invest in a place that you can pay a third to get what you would get in Cayman, or more, and that's happening in a lot of cases, and a lot of people. I think I've known someone that relocated to the Philippines, and a person who was well in business here, mm-hmm. and they relocated there, and they said life and getting fresh produce and all these things is a lot better for them. Mm-hmm. Health-wise, it's a lot better for them compared to what happens here. Because, you check it when you go to the grocery, man, it's pretty expensive now.
Yeah. But it's expensive in the U.S. It's expensive in Canada, even if the exchange rate is good, right?
Correct.
So could I then ask, and there's a consciousness to it, right? You, I think, epitomize the respect of your ancestors for their heritage and their lands. You would not, my perspective, not only would you not want to leave East End, you would not want to leave the Cayman Islands, right? So if we're putting our people in that position where they feel, listen, to make ends meet, to live, to make a living, to survive, they can't stay in Cayman and have this standard of living, this quality of life. What do we do? And I liken it to, the concerns decades ago when countries in the Caribbean were suffering this brain drain, right? Mass exodus of its people. So there's a two-part question, but that's the first part. What do we do to ensure that our people have a sense of hope? They see that they can still live in Cayman as Caymanians, be viable, have a good quality of life, safety, security, and standard of living. Because if we are at risk of losing that, then what's it all for?
And the first thing that came on is you to have more children. First thing.
All right.
And of course, we need to educate ourselves and be more mindful of our own culture and heritage.
Yeah.
Carry on, because you gotta look at it, right. You gotta wonder what has happened with Cayman. Cayman is a young country compared to Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, those places, and those places have strong culture, strong identity. Like, you can't take that away from them.
Yeah.
Maybe because they went independent, we don't know. I don't know exactly. I'm just saying.
But maybe because it manages
Cayman,
population.
Yeah, but Cayman, maybe the population too.
Yeah.
But Cayman right now is like our culture and heritage is not as strong.
Yeah.
As I think those countries are.
Are we then, Mr. Mickey? I think.
And they're old countries, so they have kept it on through the years.
We can see some challenges, and that's what I like with you and your willingness to talk publicly. You just put opinion, hopefully will encourage people. Okay, we're not going into Christmas, but there isn't any extended holiday, but we have tonight. We have now.
Yeah.
Ms. Aubrey said earlier, there were these seminal moments in our history when we look back and we say, boy, what if we could have done that? Could have impact. But are we looking at today? We can't unring the bell. You can't rewind the hands of time, right? So are there things now that we need to look at? And as you shared, are we as a people, politically elected, as someone who's been appointed to something or another, or just as perhaps in the most important position as the voter, are we going to say, listen, not that or not that now? And if we look at our demographic and we see the population distribution, Mr. Miguel Hurlson, I think, who gives us a good account of our history, who understands the importance of champion. As politely he says, he would refer to the dominant culture without, I think, wanting to be inflammatory or be perceived as being disrespectful. We don't need and call in a thing, right? But don't we need to do that as we champion, as you have, the beauty of East End as a sleeping fisher village, right? As we go about the space and say, no, that particular plant isn't going to fly here because this one is better, or they can coexist, but one can't be allowed to crowd out the other. Are we not doing that?
Yeah. Well, before we go there, the sleeper fishing village, I got that from Mr. Alan Ebanks.
Yeah.
So a lot of people might not know, but when I did East End Surf Challenge, I think for the 15 years that I did it, I actually went to Mr. Allen. All the articles that we wrote was written by him, because he is actually well written.
Yeah, man.
And stuff, right? And he put that in one of the articles one time, and I thought it was amazing. And he said, "This is what this village is."
Yeah.
Right. And that's where that came from. But just saying that.
No,
right?
Again, speaks to your acumen. You give him the credit for it.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that we have to accept the people around us, and in our communities, and more as I grow and get older, every character within my district, I appreciate.
I like how you phrase that, man.
I appreciate, and I'm assuming they appreciate my character for what I am. I'm not perfect. I'm a person living like everybody else, trying to make the best out of this mystery of life.
Yeah. but to your point, is it then that for some reason the word xenophobia, for instance, we're allowed to be bantered about? We're not talking about accepting negativity or racism or discrimination or prejudice, but we're also not going to deny that it exists. We want to address it so that in acknowledging it, we can do something about it, right? Yeah. That's positive. But why is it then that for some reason we allow an expression of Caymanianness, an expression of, promoting the culture and the heritage and the richness of the fabric, that must be somehow mean that you're anti whatever the nationality of the thing? I would, if you would allow me to speak for you in this way, I would say, like me, you would feel your life is enriched by the can I borrow your phrase, the characters around us from wherever they're from, right?
Yeah.
They bring a richness to our lives, right? The foods that they offer, the experiences they have, the invitations that they extended. And that's what makes Cayman that wonderful place. But are we at risk, just like the weather now could be road, coastline and destroy material things or uproot plants? Are we at a risk of losing that thing in this country that we have for so often taken for granted? And if you speak, or this one or the next one says, hey, no, will we champion and come and join you in solidarity, or will we castigate and condemn?
Wow, yeah. It's kind of hard for what we see in Cayman.
Yeah.
But I mean, we know that we are always gonna be hit down. We haven't had anybody cut us down on the show, and we've said a lot of things. Or even if I go on the road, haven't had that.
We may be off air.
Appreciate that. they definitely. But that says that people are accepting our views or
at least
our opinions,
listening and accessing.
Yeah. Assessing, and we also need to listen and assess, because this isn't just us, right? This is actually a melting pot of people.
Right.
So
can I ask then through you, right? I know we talked about Cayman, and I know you like me when we say that. Although our Braco family and friends agree. We say Cayman and we think Grand Cayman, but we're talking the Cayman Islands, right?
Yeah.
We just shorten it by one word. But whatever potential pitfalls or challenges that could be negative that Grand Cayman is facing, are we at a risk that Cayman Brac and Little Cayman could also be on that path, right? Without us recognizing, hey, the same mistakes that we made, maybe we put the road here too close to the
definitely. Yeah. And again, my big opinion, and I'm not from Cayman Brac.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the place, and there's some people over there that I met recently that I kind of almost consider them my grandparents, because they're so nice people.
Yeah.
But you can see the Caymanian in them, or the Cayman Brac in them.
Yeah.
They're good people.
Good
right?
people, man.
And but I'll be honest with you. I think it's very easy for things to be done and they don't know about it, because I don't think there's that much policing of things in that area. And that I'm not trying to be.
No. But is that trust in nature?
But it's probably because it's a small place and there's so much there. If you go there and you drive, you hardly see anybody, right? And back and forth. So there can be places where an access could be moved or it could be could be in danger, and someone may go change it. No one knows. I don't know. I think there are things over there. When I was with the Public Lands Commission, that I thought we should have paid more attention to.
Okay, maybe it's not too late.
And but I think they will. I'm just saying from my perspective, because I think the Public Lands Commission, the people that's there are good people, and I think they want the best for Cayman as well. So just having said that, that's the what if you didn't listen to what Mr. Elvis McKeever said, someone passed it to me, and he made some good points and about what's happening over there. Not to say that it's 100% correct, but I can see it happening because there isn't a lot of policing around the area. Because it's so safe.
Yeah,
there's nothing going on. So someone violating noise or something in an area that no one is nothing, right? To some people.
Yeah.
But it is something to a Caymanian that wants to do rest and relax on a Sunday and go to the public beach for that reason.
Affecting the change, culture and heritage and ethos, right?
Yeah. But there's other stuff going on as well, over there that should be paid attention to.
Yeah. Well, I hear you when you say policing. To me, as I interpret it, not only in the policing apparatus and the uniform and that policing authority, but the wider community. acknowledging, hey, that's not,
No, I think they're very much with that, the wider community. Yeah, they're very much making sure if you don't do things, but like I personally believe there can be some little areas that are open that
some more. Okay, all right.
We need to put on.
All right, talking about the camera back, goodness and love, man. I hope she doesn't mind me. Hopefully not embarrassed her too much. Miss Paulette Connolly. My arm was a little bit, a little bit sore today. I foolishly did something that I shouldn't, but I forgot it, and I tried to use it a little bit more. And she, the old-fashioned homemade remedy, put some rub on it. You smell the mint?
Yeah.
Miss Paulette, thank you, man. I'm sitting here and not peeing as much, man. I don't think I'm hiding from the fumes, but thanks so much. That helps. But that's the kindness. All right. So the final break, I want to invite you to sing with me when we come back.
Oh, gosh. Really?
I didn't say how to accept that. I said I wanted to invite you. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's Home Loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Welcome to a new year with Digicel. Elevate your mobile experience by switching to our prepaid or postpaid plans. Enjoy more data, seamless communication, and uninterrupted entertainment. Plus, make the switch now for a chance to win exciting rewards. Stay connected, entertained, and make 2024 your year with Digicel. Because better connections make a better year.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers of a planned service interruption in the Peace Bay area of Bordentown on Wednesday, 7th February to facilitate infrastructure upgrade works in the area. The works will take place from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and will impact the following roads: Kipling Street, Bront Way, Tennyson Street, Dickens Street, Carrington Lane, Brook Drive, and Clarice Avenue. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its water infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I want to say a special thanks to Shane Noby Edwards. Both publicly, you and then there are others who come in from time to time. It's my intent that by accepting the invitation, we would encourage other people to start to think and to talk. And if they agree with what is being said, fair enough. If they disagree, great. But with a sense of well, how do we make it, for want of a better word, make it better, make it the best that we can, so that the space that we live in, I think we all want a society that is safe, civil, right, where we enjoy a sense of personal safety and security, where if the entrepreneurs and economic opportunity exist, where there's good political stability. But that won't happen if there isn't a conscious, concerted effort by the citizens. So in saying that, please share as you wish. What is it that we need to do so that we get to that space where we have that discussion, where people, whether they're working for government, whether they are working for themselves or in the private sector, whether they're retired, for somehow there's this growing perception, an increasing sentiment that if they say anything, it could be construed that they are political or they're this. Even if they are, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But they're punished for it.
Yeah, but I think that's a part of being a civil service servant. They have something in there that, I mean,
okay.
I know how restricted I was for so much years.
All right, let me challenge you. Right? Let me challenge you. Private sector employees. I won't name any of the companies, but increasingly. You want to jump in? Go on.
Private sector people just making money, so they don't want to know politics.
Whatever
they don't want to talk about nothing like that.
Fair enough.
They'll talk on the table after what they're making their money. That's the reality. People in the government system, they're the people who, I worked there for years, so I understand. Yeah, we got some of them making good money. Others are really, not there, so they can't establish the independence and go and speak and do this and that. So they have to be scared.
Okay.
And that's a concern.
All right. So let me, and this would be a discussion that should continue, right? And this is only to challenge the thought process. So we're not talking about biting the hand that feeds you. We're not talking about letting us state secrets. We're not talking about being that person, where that person's employed, whether for him or herself, otherwise, doing something that is just unethical or illegal or immoral. But private sector employees in a number of entities have shared, I can't accept an invitation to come on a show because my employer needs to approve it. I can't get involved in this and this. Sometimes, I haven't seen anything official from the employer, whether it's a big company or whether it's a small entity, or, the employer worried about work permit, or they may offend a government, or whether that's real or perceived, right? Now, many would say, well, if you work for government, you shouldn't be able to speak. That might be accepted, but at what point the democracy is undermined because personal freedoms to speak, to assemble, right, have been either denied or self-imposed restrictions.
Good point.
I don't mean to only. Here's a great example. There is someone in our community. There's a strong academic, a strong intellect, right? Published and all those things. And I said one day, I want to have a discussion. I want to invite this one, and this one. And it might be a discussion that will be at such a high level that I may have to sit there with my dictionary and take notes and then come back and try to figure out what was said, right? But it was the intent to have this discussion. One of the questions, to what extent the civil service has been politicized, and in what extent there are politicians in the civil service that are not elected. Now, it was worded a little bit differently because, and this particular individual said, if you look at the composition of the Legislative Assembly, as it was then, right? It's now Parliament. You have two sitting individuals, the Attorney General and the Deputy Governor.
Yeah.
Top civil servants, and their roles that they play, they bring, contribute to the discussion and the debate and the motions, they sponsor bills and motions and all those things, right? And they participate in cabinet. What, is more political, according to this individual, than two senior civil servants participating in that space, right? There was no disparaging, disrespectful thing. Now, in partly answering the own question that was offered is that in the system we have, then, in absence of those two portfolios or individuals, then that will have to fall on the respective elected people. Do you want that? Can you have that without greater sense of constitutional reform? But it was just an academic discussion, and no, we're not coming on because, boy, this one critique. Now, one could say, well, I'm not a Caymanian, so I might be told to sit down. You can't do that. All right? But when I'm saying that's the reason, no. What I just said, people may say, boy, you don't have a job tomorrow. But that's not to be disrespectful. It doesn't mean that you mightn't have been.
Yeah.
But think about it. Have you thought about it before? You have two in the form of, whatever the post was before. It's now called the Deputy Governor. It's always been the Attorney General. They're in the Legislative Assembly, in our Parliament.
But then, doesn't that form a bit of the checks and balance, like how the CPA?
Okay, but
right?
could those checks?
Is it CPA? Is it what's the other board they have that deals with all of the? I used to remember. I forgot it now.
Okay, there's a couple
that actually reviews all the different
Daughter Generals
and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
What's that again?
Public Accounts Committee?
Public Accounts Committee.
Yeah, but can those checks and balances exist? Still exist, right? Or even be better a position if you didn't have non-elected people in the space, right? I mean, it was. I probably didn't craft the hypothesis as they were putting forward their discussion, right? In the way these academics could, but that was the gist of what was being shared. Now, many of us probably had that thought before, but never really thought it through.
Yeah.
All right. We have a quick call, I'm told. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Well, good afternoon. I should have called not in the last 3 minutes, but in the first 3 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You got to be careful, right? You can't disrupt the vibes today. This is Bob Marley's birthday, all right? Okay?
I can't do that, and I have to take that advice very, very serious.
Yes, joking.
No, man.
Well, I was half asleep actually when I heard you starting to touch on a certain topic, and then I said no, but I have to get up so I can make this call. That's how you stimulated me.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, let me just mention there's a case which went to the Privy Council. I think it's called Permanent Secretary against the Minister of Fisheries. It might have been again from Antigua.
Okay.
And basically there was a civil servant there who participated in a demonstration in Antigua where they were talking about ending corruption in the government and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was disciplined, and I think the union there took up his matter all the way to the Privy Council. And the Privy Council said, look, under the Bill of Rights, everybody has got a right to express themselves, and that includes the civil servants.
Uh-huh.
And that unless a civil servant is of such a high rank that they are like part of the decision-making process, unless they are of that rank, in which case they can't go out there and question decisions they've been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they said anybody really from about middle management down, they are free to participate in that kind of demonstration.
Mm.
And I think that's a case which has been under-publicized. And I think in Cayman, we need that. We need people to understand that. But then the problem is, I think in Cayman also there has been a disrespect of that decision and that approach. Mm-hmm. Because why, for example, have they been moving certain staff? Let us not talk about any particular staff, present and past.
Mm-hmm.
Why have certain people, civil servants, been moved? We remember 3 cases some time back. I think it was a case involving Miss Angela Martins, Diane Montoya, and Deborah Drummond. And I mentioned them because those cases were in the public domain.
Right.
They were in the public domain, and the government had to settle that. Why? Because it was felt that what was being done to them was political. And I suspect a recent case might fall in that category, although that person is within government. So I think that it is important that the government should respect that. I myself, for example, you've spoken about people wanting to do something in the private sector. I tried to teach some courses in the private sector after government refused to teach, for me to teach them in the public sector.
Mm-hmm.
And I was stopped from doing that. They went to court practically to stop me from doing that. So there are those rights within the community that have to be better recognized. Well, I have to thank you because I know we're out of time. It's 2:30. I thank you. Thanks very much.
No,
thank you
very
much.
Thank you for listening, and certainly always, know the invitation is there to share. You have a wonderful afternoon, huh?
Thank you too.
All right, enjoy the weather up there. Nobi, hey, thank you for. It's a long drive from you, then, eh?
Yeah, man.
All right, well, I hope you can join us next
Very
time.
long drive, but
All
today is Bob Marley's birthday, you know, and just hoping everybody's gonna go out and watch the movie. Yeah,
Is it
coming up soon.
next week?
The 14th.
Yeah,
So
next
like
week.
14th,
It's
yeah.
gonna. All right. Well, if you wish to have a final comment for today's show, you're welcome to mine. If not, I'll do it.
You can have your comment too. Appreciate you having me on and everything, you know. And it was a pretty good day. Really would have liked to hear some more people call in and share their views, but it's okay. You know, there are a couple of people who made some comments. So next time, maybe I can mention those.
Yes.
I told them I was going to mention, but we'd right down to the wire. So
Yeah. I had a petition for more time when nobody's here.
No.
Well, you've inspired and encouraged many of us. Thank you for taking time and through your intellect, but also your genuine passion for the culture, the heritage, right? Promoting our history and recognizing and respecting it. As we, you know, travel through East End and North Side, that we'll appreciate what is before us, right? As we look at the Brack and the like, we understand that they are our brothers and the notion, but not to be denied a voice and not to be frightened. Mama says, "Up and over frightened," and no matter how big or ugly they come, you know, David stood in before a giant and slayed him with ease. So with conviction and prayer and purpose, let's position ourselves, man.
Right. But the most important thing now is everybody make sure you go fishing when the weather get better and share your fishing stories. That's right.
All right. Have a good afternoon, man. And please be safe out there if you're on the coastlines in particular. Until tomorrow, please join us.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.